Welcome everyone again to this second webinar on groundwater today and into the future. My name is Damian Indig. I am CAPNet's Virtual Campus Coordinator, and I'm going to chair today's webinar. This is the second of two webinars, which shall learn about the experiences of two online courses on groundwater that were run in 2022. Next, please. These courses were run thanks to the financial support of BGR and in collaboration with a large number of partners, as you can see from this slide. So, of course, thanks everyone for such a great participation and support. Of course, this wouldn't have been possible without such a strong and positive teamwork that we had. Antonella, next test, please. Okay, some short reminders and housekeeping rules for this webinar. The webinar will be recorded, and then later on it will be published online. We will share with you where you can see this recording, and actually where you can share it with others. Please keep yourselves muted in the main session. We will have some moments for open discussions, so you will be able to talk or also to share your questions on the chat window. Now, as we are just starting, I would like to kindly invite all of you to go to the chat window, the chat space, to introduce yourselves. Please share your name, organization, and country. Also, using the same chat function, please put any questions and comments, and you are most welcome to do this at any time. We will see your questions and comments, and when we get to the moments of Q&As and participations, we will go back to them. If you're going to speak, please switch your camera so we can all see you, if possible. And in case you have any problems, please contact Antonella Perrupato. She's the host and giving us a hand with IT and participant support. So just let us know also through the chat box if you have any issue. Having said this, we can continue. Thanks, Antonella. Next one, please. Okay, I'll share with you the agenda. Well, first, you see me. My name is Damian Indig. I told you already, you can see a picture of me, and also on the side, you should see a small box with me talking live. So in a few minutes, Dr. Kerstin Danner will begin with a presentation on the online course on professional management, which we just had this year and finalized not long ago. After that, we will have the first part of two discussion moments we will have today. This first part will be, we will share some videos by some participants who will share their reflections as course participants. And these are Amina Ali. Then we have Natalie Ferguson and Yusuf. And there is another participant, but finally, I don't think he will participate. These persons have shared with us some videos, which we will see, but they are also present here today. So eventually later on, they will have the chance to add some more comments or to respond any questions. And for that, as you will see, we have some moment later for any clarifications from the audience. And following that, we will jump right away into discussions part number 2, which is reflections in this chance from the co-facilitators. We had a very large group of highly experts who help in co-facilitating this course. So we will hear from Bridget Doton. I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing your surname correctly, but you will correct me at due time. And also from Doton Adekile. So first Bridget from the UK, and later Doton from Nigeria. And then we have another space for open questions and answers from all of you if you would like to use the opportunity. And later on, when we are getting to the end of the webinar, we'll have some closing remarks by Johannes Munch from BGR, and then we will close this webinar. Anton, next one, please. And now I invite my colleague, Kirsten Dannert, to go ahead and start her presentation. Kirsten, if you please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Damian. And thank you, Antonella. And thanks everyone for joining today. Can we go to the next slide, please?
Kirsten, I think you've frozen. I think we have lost Kirsten on the way. Let's just hold a moment. Kirsten, are you there?
Can you hear me? Yeah, that's better.
Yes, now you're back.
Yeah, it just completely froze suddenly. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, so just starting with the gap, what's the problem? We know the importance of groundwater in Africa, serving more than 75% of the population with their drinking water, and the commitment on Sustainable Development Goal 6.1 on drinking water. So groundwater is really important for meeting the SDGs in Africa. However, capacity strengthening with respect to groundwater resources and groundwater development has really remained marginal, particularly among political leadership in most of the countries and also by international financing organizations. There's just not being enough done around capacity for those two aspects of groundwater, despite its importance. Next slide, please. And so this is a slightly crazy looking picture, so forgive me. But if you start with a kind of explosion on the top left, that was when the Rural Water Supply Network was formed out of another network, a hand pump technology network. And the topic of sustainable groundwater development was launched. It was called cost-effective boreholes. And in that journey from the explosion to the flag at the bottom right, where we are today, a whole load of work has taken place over those 17 years. And some of that put here, a whole set of guidance documents that were developed over time, assessments that were done in a number of countries, face-to-face training that were done, particularly by Doton and myself, and Doton with others, on these topics. And they were also training done by others that we tried to document and bring in. We realized that documents are too difficult for people to understand, not very exciting. So we came up with these educational films to summarize the documents, or films, as we say in Scotland. And on a continuing journey, particularly with UNICEF funding, we developed this guidance note really on the different elements, kind of bringing these different elements together of professional drilling, professional groundwater development. UNICEF also funded the development of a toolkit, and those of you who took the course will have seen the different models in that toolkit. And finally, in 2018, we decided to really try to develop and launch online courses that bring all this information together in a kind of a systematic way and help people to know what information is there, what they need to know, and to really inspire people to do more. So that's the 3 online courses that you see in the flag at the bottom right. And I'm going to sneeze, it could be quite loud. So, yeah, no, it's okay, it's passed. Okay, next slide, please, Antonella. Okay, so the learning objectives of the course on professional drilling management were really around understanding professional drilling, understanding why boreholes fail, really recognizing the importance of data, appreciating the importance of drilling supervision, which many of you did, that came out a lot in the evaluation, learning about practices, initiatives in other countries, having more knowledge about procurement and contract management practices, understanding the institutional and legal framework, and really having signposts for materials that can support further learning on the topic in the future. Next slide, please. And as you can imagine, we had great fun trying to organize the structure of the course. And we had these 5 modules, which seemed to work quite well, although discussions of the order, the first one being on groundwater data and siting, the second one about the procurement process and contract management, the third looking at borehole drilling and looking even more at drilling supervision, the fourth looking outside the organizations that you work with to the legal and institutional frameworks that help or hinder professionalism of drilling. And finally, the 5th module about actions, what can participants do to raise drilling professionalism? Next slide, please. So the course style, and those of you who've been on the course know this. For those of you who don't, let me just explain. We had about 200 active participants on this course this year. Their job was to read compulsory contents, participate in a discussion forum, and respond to multiple choice questions and quizzes that they would get the answers from the materials. Participants also had access to other optional readings, videos, and web links. And the course ran for 4 months and finished at the end of October, the month previous. We had participants from 33 countries, and that's a map of where they were from. And the funding, the emphasis was focusing on sub-Saharan Africa, but we also had people from other countries. Next slide, please. So the course, which is hosted on the CapNet virtual campus, we had over 780 applicants, of which we invited 314 to the course. We had a very heavy emphasis on women participants, which of course meant that many men who applied were not able to attend. We really want to ensure that more women have education in this. There was an emphasis on Africa and also an emphasis on government participants. So that meant if you applied and you were male from an NGO, you had quite a low chance of being selected. Our completion rate, so invited participants, of those who were invited, 209 were active. They engaged in the course, and 162 completed successfully, which is a pass rate of 78%, which is apparently very good for online training because many people drop out of online courses. Next slide, please. We have 2 reports from this course and from the Groundwater Resources Management course that we'll be putting online, we hope, before the end of the year. And there's a lot of detail there from the feedback from participants, positive and also critique ideas. But basically the course exceeded or fully met the expectations of most of the participants, a very high proportion, and 97% of the candidates found it very beneficial to their learning. And that's an indication also of the selection and those who apply and how they're selected. And here's some quotes that came forward. Borehole drilling and supervision has been an eye-opener to me. The procurement and contract management module helped us to appreciate how the drilling industry operates and the risks associated with it. I do find all the materials quite resourceful. However, costing and pricing was an eye-opener for me, was an opener for me. Supervision checklist and the proper gravel pack material. Most drillers in beep are using wrong materials for gravel packing. And last but not least, the practical nature of the videos with more resources were very helpful. Paying for all boreholes, dry or wet, as best practice is really challenging learning. Next slide, please. So what do we want to see? Well, we managed, UNICEF funded the 2018 course, SCAT Foundation and others funded the 2019 course, BGR funded the 2022 course. That was 3 years to find funding again. We don't have any funding for more courses. But we would like to see others copy these courses, and all the materials will be made available online with the report. And what we, as the organisers of the course, I'm speaking for CapNet, Africa Groundwater Network, Ask for Water and RWSN, is we'd like to see an annual cycle of these courses online for both courses, the Groundwater Resources course and this course. And that annual cycle really leading to other things, to sharing, to listening, to better documenting, inspiring better practices, and all the other things you see in the diagram, improved university courses, maybe embedding certain parts, face-to-face training, starting, policies improving, and practices ultimately improving as well. I think that's my last slide. I hope it's my last slide. Back to you, Damien. And so, yeah.
Perfect. Kirsten, thanks very much. Details, of course, I assume, or most of the attendants of the webinar, you know her or been in touch with her, but in any case, there is her contact details and email. Anto, can we move to the next one, please? Okay, we are starting the, let's say, the second moment of this webinar. And as I told you at the beginning, the first discussion part, where we will learn a little bit more about the experience from the point of view of some course participants. Anto, please, let's move into the next one. So we will start with Amina Ali from Nigeria. She's a geologist by background, working at the National Center for Petroleum Research and Development. Currently, as principal technologist with over 9 years experience, actively engaged in carrying out water quality tests, and also participated in monitoring and supervision of solar boreholes and solar street lights. As I said in the beginning, but I know that some people have entered the webinar just a few minutes later, we will hear from these participants through recorded videos, but they are also here joining us at the webinar. So later on, they will have the chance to expand a little bit more or answer any questions. So Anto, if we could please go into Anima's video now.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Amina Ali from Nigeria. I'm a geologist by background and I work with National Center for Petroleum Research and Development, a research center under the Energy Commission of Nigeria. I would like to share one or two of my experiences with you over the period of this course. This course couldn't have come at a better time than now, when most communities are faced with water insecurity, especially at the sub-Saharan Africa. However, one of the ways to curtail this is by exploring the groundwater resources through professionalism. Furthermore, the training has impacted knowledge in me in ways that I have been able to have a better picture of what a drilling project is all about. However, with the availability of such training, the knowledge gained from it is going to go a long way in addressing challenges surrounding water drilling projects. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Anima, for this video and your valuable contribution. It's the next one. Antonella, please, that one. Thanks very much. So as Kirsten, thanks very much. As Kirsten suggested on the chat box, if you have if your volume is a bit low for the videos, please increase the volume in each one of your computers. Thank you. We will move on to the next sharing of experience from another participant, in this case from Natalie Erica Ferguson. She's a hydrologist based in Jamaica. She's currently employed to the Hydrology Consultants Limited, where she has acquired 10 years of consultancy experience in water resources development, environmental engineering, and assessments. She previously gained 18 years of regulatory experience in water resources management and water education at the Water Resources Authorities of Jamaica. Anto, let's play her video now, please. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Natalie Ferguson. I am a hydrogeologist residing in Jamaica. I was excited to apply for the Professional Drilling Management course advertised for 2002, as I had missed the course deadline in 2019. I appreciated the online access to the course and materials, as this training is not available in the Caribbean region, and the professional aspect of hydrogeology was not covered in my previous studies. I had no challenges with accessing the course materials. This course gave me a greater understanding of what I am doing on the job, working with a consultancy firm. I felt like I was closing the information gap on a lot of areas in my work, especially in the areas of supervising water well drilling and procurement and contract management. I learned new information, such as the basic cost of running a drilling business. The modules have provided me with the information that would allow me to function independently and to transfer my knowledge with confidence. I found the course materials to be very valuable and relevant to my work, so I created my own go-to manual from the RWS publication. All modules form for me the foundation for practicing as a hydrogeologist, and I look forward to using them as my first point of reference as supervisor and project manager. I would love to have continued access to all the course materials. I am so grateful to have sat this course. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Natalie, also for sharing your valuable experience. And now, Anto, if we move to the next slide, thanks very much. And our final video this morning to me, afternoon for some of you, in this discussion section of the webinar, we will hear now from Yusuf Akbeid Prolik from Geoscience Services and Rural Water Supply Network. He's a geoscientist from Nigeria with over a decade-long experience in various fields, but majorly in the groundwater development sector. He has been practicing actively in the field in the areas of hydrology, geophysics, largely for groundwater exploration and development, using various equipment and software for data acquisition and interpretation, respectively, and project management. Over the years, he has been involved in the successful execution of various borehole drilling contracts, right from the bidding process till project completion. He has worked for individuals, corporate bodies, and on-government donor-sponsored projects. Anto, let's go on with his video, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yusuf Bridget, a geoscientist with over a decade-long experience in the groundwater development industry here in Nigeria. I was one of the participants of the Professional Drilling Management course, and I must confess it is perhaps the most comprehensive, if not the only training I have taken thus far that addresses drilling from the beginning to the end. The course was, for me, a reminder of what professionalism in drilling is all about. In another part, the course was insightful. For example, the module that deals with procurement and contract management, concepts discussed therein can actually be applied in other fields. In another angle, the course was a call to action. Why do I say this? In one of the recommended videos, that's of the legal and institutional frameworks in borehole drilling management. The video there was a webinar in which I was part of in 2015, being a member of the Rural Water Supply Network. And I remember making a comment during the webinar that there's a gap between policymakers, the players in the industry, that is drillers and those that work in the groundwater industry, and the populace. Many practitioners don't even know there is a code of conduct, for example, guiding borehole drilling, nor do the populace. If professionals in the industry don't know, then how do we even expect the population at large to be aware of what is to be done as regards practice in the drilling industry. So there is still a lot to be done, especially as regards achieving professionalism in drilling in the global south. I hope you enjoyed the course like I did, and it has added value to you just like it did to me. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Yusuf. That was very valuable and good to hear you enjoyed the course. Now, Anto, if we can move to the next slide. Okay, I see that we are going just on time as planned with the agenda. And now we have a few minutes for clarifications from the audience. I see, Samuel, you just wrote that the sound is very low. Please, may I suggest that you check in your own computer if you can increase it a little bit, or perhaps it was only during the videos and now it's solved. Now it's the moment for you to step in if you want. I suggest two things. You can write down any questions or comments on the chat window, or else you can go to the reactions that you see below the screen. You see many functions, a smiling face called reactions. If you click on there, you can raise your digital hand and we can open the microphone for you. But I also invite Yusuf, Natalie, or Amina. I think you're all here with us if you want to add something else. Meanwhile, I see Ismail Mohamud. You raised your hand, so please go ahead. I think we need to unmute you. Let me do that, if I can. Anto, can you help me to unmute Ismail?
Yes, thanks for giving me this opportunity. I think I'm audible.
Yes, very well. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my clarification is, yes, I got a lot of benefits from this course. I have been working for, I'm a hydrogeologist. I have been working for this field 6 years as a hydrogeologist, working from geophysical, groundwater exploration, drilling, supervision. So what I can see, I developed drilling supervision guideline in 2019 from the same material for this course for rural water supply network, and I have shared this, especially checklists and so on. The second clarification that I need is we have the issue of the no water, no payment for contract management, drilling contract management. So in Somalia, there's a lot of NGOs, organizations that apply in this area. So as a hydrogeologist, it's we have some trouble because this is one side cannot take the responsibility, even especially the contracts. So I have some suggestions. In area in Somalia, we have difficulty of groundwater exploration, finding of groundwater, enough groundwater, either quality or quantity. So my recommendation is to use the exploration method, testing method. So paying 30% of the contract if there is no any water, and drill another area with emphasize the data and information. Over to you. Thanks for this.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing, and we will definitely keep in mind your comments. I see that Natalie, you raised your hand. So also, Anto, can we try to unmute Natalie so she can go ahead and talk?
Yeah.
Natalie, I think your microphone is open now. Please go ahead.
All right, good morning for me. Is everyone seeing and hearing me?
Yes, very well.
Great. As I said in my presentation, I'm really grateful for the course. I think it's a very useful course. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, I went into the field to identify sites that we had already identified using our desk study. and I had to go out to the field to actually do the reconnaissance for it, I actually went back to my notebook that I created and went through the siting of water wells again, just to ensure that I was going out there armed with the information that I actually received. So yes, the information is very useful. I'm making a suggestion. I don't know if it's applicable, but probably won't be applicable for me, but for the African territory. For this course to be, the courses to be like a certification that persons actually attain to practice as a hydrogeologist. On my side of the region, there's a Groundwater Association in the United States, and Canada has their association, and you have to every now and then they're inviting their hydrogeologists or their well drillers to do these courses to remain certified, to ensure that they have, you know, the information that is required to create the best options that are out there. So I'm making that recommendation. It's going to be more than probably just these courses, but there are a lot more stuff you could actually put in it and have something, but something that persons actually have. I was really happy when I got my certificate and recognized that on LinkedIn, it fell in the section that said certification. That was really good for me. So if persons have courses that are running that they have a certification for, then the region could actually use it, you know, to ensure that persons going out into the field are all receiving the same information and are expected to have exposure to the same skills and materials. Thank you.
Thanks very, very much. That's really an important issue that you have raised. So a couple of comments. One is that we will definitely pick up your comment and see what we can do about it. The road towards a more formal certification, it's not always an easy one, as you can imagine, because it requires that we sort of establish new partnerships with new organizations who will accept the course and all its contents and therefore provide their own certification. But definitely you're showing that there is a need for that. So we will for sure explore and see what are the chances to achieve this. The second, you mentioned that everyone who completed the course did get a certificate from the course, from the campus. And as you have noticed, the campus is built on a platform called EDX, which is a well-known platform used all over the world. And the certificate that you all have has a unique ID number. And also you got the certificate in a unique URL. And that URL that you have with the certificate, that will stay active forever. It will never disappear. So you can share that your certificate as you did on LinkedIn, or just put the link with your certificate to everybody that you want to share with. And it's it has the formality of being an online course based on EDX. So it has its value on that regard, plus all the partners who were behind this course. But of course, what you're mentioning is something more ambitious that we understand, and definitely we would like to achieve one day. So I think it's notes for us, for the course partners, and let's see how far we can make progress. I'm seeing some comments on the chat. Let me read them. Reynaldo Domingos. Sorry, I will close my window because there are some background noises. Reynaldo Domingos says, thanks for your prioritizing Africa in these courses for obvious reasons. I am attending the webinar from Nampula, northern Mozambique. I am a lecturer in hydrology and exploration geophysics. Mozambique is in a Portuguese-speaking country with several professionalism problems. Webinars in Portuguese would help raise awareness on the importance of professionalism in water drilling business. Any plans for courses in Portuguese? Thanks so much, Reynaldo. We will take this forward. Of course, once we hear that there's interest, there's demand, then we take it very seriously, and we will do everything possible to make this happen. We do have through our networks, we have colleagues who manage who are experts in Portuguese, so language wouldn't be an issue. It's just the, let's say, the capacity to put together the activity. Eventually, it would also be excellent to put together an entire course in Portuguese. So again, that's homework for us partners doing this course. And before moving in, I will read the next question. Hello, I am Masikuru Agnes from the Water Trust in Uganda. Could you share with us the case study from those 3 participants? I adjusted my, okay. And I see that Kirsten replied, so that will all be shared later on. So we will close this section now. Thanks everybody for your comments, and they're all well received.
To hand raise, I don't know.
There's a person with their hand.
Yes, yeah, 2 person.
Okay.
Rangaya Kanaga and Samira Farouk.
Okay, so let's hear from them. Antonella, could you open their microphones, please?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for the time. My name is Rangaya Kanaganathan from Action Control FM Nigeria Mission. Yeah, I mean, I was not the participant, participant on the course, but I'm really interested on the course what you guys are doing, because one of our objectives also to improve the knowledge and skill within the local population, the stakeholders on specifically on groundwater management and the information management. Is this course material can be available that we can kind of use that one when you do some training down to the lower level, or you have kind of online courses that even you have a limited number of participants you selected, but there can be something additional we can do it in the cluster level. The down, I can see there is some people already in Nigeria trained, but if you can have the course material to replicate or use some level to train some of the people in a lower level here. Thank you.
Okay. I would say that many materials are available through the different course partners, but let's say all the package as such, we cannot make it available because it would be a huge package of information, and that's why everything is presented in the format of a course. So 2 comments. For all the people who have taken the course, they will have access to the course permanently. Let's say as long as Cabinet exists, and hopefully we are in place for a long time ahead, and we have the virtual campus in place, all participants will have permanent access to the course. Now, for the people who didn't take the course, we will do our best to offer new editions in the nearest future. So let's see how much we can do about it. And Kirsten just added on the chat window that we will put the main materials online together with the report. So as I said, we can share some materials, not everything because it would be huge, but main materials will be there. Anto, could you please? Yeah. Yes. Anto, could you please unmute Samira Farouk? Oh, yes. Samira, there you go. Please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon from Kano, Nigeria. I actually have a comment as well as a question. First of all, I want to applaud the organizers of this course, and I'm really, really grateful because it came at the right time. I'm the a project leader for Serendipity Healthcare Foundation here in Kano, where we do health interventions in wash, maternal health, and childcare, as well as vulnerable children. Now, we're able to implement most of what we learned in terms of how we're going to get a good bill site, how we're going to that will help us in doing the geophysical and the hydrological survey, and all the things we needed to look out for in loopholes such that our projects are successful. So right up to the time we concluded on the program, I was able to cascade down this information to the rest of my team for it, because we have been able to put in processes and all the loopholes we have to solve them. So thank you very much. This course was really, really awesome. It was explorating, and it has improved our knowledge in terms of drilling and how to get a very good borehole. So thank you very much. That's my comment. Now, my question is it possible, this is just something that just came off the top of my head. Is it possible, I know this is a course, is a professional course and all of that. Is there going to be something like a recertification? I mean, after like maybe 3 years or 4 years, the course could be run again, not the whole hog like it happened this first time, but maybe something like a reminder, you understand, to keep us abreast, because things will change. The way we look at the whole course and the way we look at how we drill our holes, because we don't have total control of climate. Climate change has come in, so some things might change. So I'm asking if it is possible, more or less like those of us that have taken the course, is there going to be another one like a recertification in maybe like 3 years? Is going to be like a 3-year or 5-year thing? So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Samira. Excellent point. I think what you're suggesting is what sometimes we call a refresher course, and that would be a great idea. But I will give the word now to Kirsten, so she can reply on this. And then after Kirsten, we will move into discussion part 2. But then we will have another moment to share opinions. So Kirsten, do you want to take this last comment?
Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks a lot. Oops. Thanks a lot. I forgot to unmute, sorry. Thanks a lot, Samira, for your comments, encouragement, and also idea. It's a great idea. With RWSN, we're exploring how kind of mentoring could be done, and maybe with alumni from past courses. So that's being explored. No promises yet. But thanks for the idea, and yeah, let's see what can be done. Yeah, back to you, Damian. No, you're not. You're still muted. You've caught my disease.
Sorry. Anto, could we please move to the next one, please? Thank you. So right away, we jump into discussion part number 2. And now we're going to hear from the other side of the table, and we will hear from the experiences of facilitators and co-facilitators. So let me present them to you. Anto, let's move to the next one, please. So first, we will hear from Bridget. There you are. Thank you. From Bridget O'Dockart. Now, please, Bridget, correct me when I give you the word. She's a UK-based hydrologist with 25 years experience, particularly in groundwater resource assessment and management in challenging, for example, low permeability, dryland, Arctic, or urban, and data-scarce hydrological environments, groundwater mapping, and communicating hydrological information. She has worked across the UK and in countries across Africa, Asia, Middle East, and South America, and is a recognized expert on groundwater resources in Scotland. And I will present right away to Doton and then give the word to both of them, starting by Bridget. Doton Adekil is a hydrologist based in Nigeria. He has over 40 years experience providing consultancy services to governments and development agencies across Africa. He has for several years been involved in training of WASH personnel, including 2 sessions of the online professional management of water well drilling projects and programs. So Anto, if we can go please to the next slide, and also unmute Bridget so we can hear from her. Thank you both.
Thank you, Damien. Yeah, my name is Bridget Doherty. Apologies for how complicated the surname is to pronounce, but thank you, Damien. I want to do 2 things here quickly. First, just give a personal view, and then provide some of the feedback on behalf of all of the co-facilitators on the course. So just firstly, quickly, my personal view, as I said in the bio, I've been a working hydrogeologist for 25 years, and I've been involved in many projects to site and drill and test new water boreholes, as well as being involved in managing borehole supplies over the long term. So I know the problems that can arise when boreholes aren't drilled or constructed or tested appropriately. And I know how important it is to have people with the right expertise working on water drilling projects so that we make sure we have successful and sustainable boreholes for the long term. But I also know how difficult it is for people to have access to that kind of professional training that supports us in our work. I've helped to give training courses in drilling myself, in-person courses, for example, in Ghana and in Malawi in the past. But as we know, this kind of training is not available to too many people. So that's why I've been really happy to see this course develop and to be involved in a small way in this course, because it really does, I think, provide the kind of expert and practical training that directly meets the needs of professionals who are working in this area. I mean, I think we saw from some of the feedback quite how practical and direct relevance it is. And it's been able to, the course has been able to provide that to so many more, to increasing numbers of people. So it's been great to see the positive feedback from so many of the participants. So from the videos from Natalie and Amina and Yusuf, and from the other participants who you've just spoken. So that was my personal feedback. I just also want to move on to the slide that you see. So as co-facilitators, we also provided the course organizers with some feedback from our perspective. Our main role really during the course was to help moderate the discussion forums. And those forums, online discussion forums, were aimed at really extending and deepening the participant learning experience. Our main feedback was that I think the co-facilitators, we also learned an awful lot from participating in the forums. We got a lot of insights into the situation around data management, sort of groundwater data and management and practices, drilling practices and challenges in the different countries. And I think quite importantly, from the discussions that went on, we saw that many of the challenges are common to many different countries, which gives, these are not isolated challenges, which I think also gives hope when we're looking for solutions to provide to those particular problems, that they can be applicable from one area, one country to another. We were also asked as a group, as facilitators, what recommendations we would like for changes. And I think the one thing most of us felt was that the discussion forums could have been more interactive. They perhaps weren't as interactive as we'd hoped. And there may be many reasons for that. The actual format of the platform, the online platform. The participant earlier who mentioned Portuguese language, I think brought up an important point, in that not all of the participants are perhaps confident in writing in English, which was the language of the discussion forum. But we put that forward really as a group of facilitators as our key recommendation to maybe look at in future these courses, and when these courses hopefully are run again, to try and maybe look at ways of improving communication between participants and facilitators and course providers. And that might be by looking at providing different ways of course presentation, perhaps live sessions, webinars. These things are all just ideas for now. That's all I would like to say. Thank you. So I'm going to hand over to Doton to give his feedback from and on behalf of facilitators. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. It's nice to see you all. I see so many familiar names. I see old friends. I see old Nigerians. And I thank the discussants, the participants who took part and gave their feedback. It makes me very happy. I mean, very excited to see having been part of this process for a long time. First, we had to develop all these training materials, documents, and then what do we do with the documents? And we decided to have short courses and then to have online courses to be able to reach more people. And I'm so happy that to see how the numbers continue to grow every year. 2018, when we started, there were 84 participants from 43 countries. 2019, there were 97 participants from 34 countries. And this year, the number has gone to 162. And it shows that the courses are relevant, and there's a thirst and a need for the courses to be run. And I just look hopefully that we continue to have fundings to be able to reach more people and to be able to create the critical mass of professionals that will make the necessary change in the sector. So I'm happy to see that the course is on and people are taking active interest in it. Bridget had covered most of what I wanted to say, but then I'll just look back that the objectives of the course that we set up actually are being fulfilled as the numbers continue to grow and people are taking advantage of it. Now, having been part of the process, I looked at the 2018 course, I looked at the 2019 course, and I just noticed this year that we didn't have assignments. In the previous courses, participants had to complete an assignment in each module, which was like a mini project. And it gave an opportunity for us to assess as facilitators, to assess, the understanding of the participants of the course materials and to make corrections where there are, wrong perceptions. And sometimes even when the assignments were not properly completed, we gave guidance on how it could be completed, so that's sort of given an opportunity for direct teaching so that the assignments could be completed correctly. But I know it's a question of, it costs money to have people, to have facilitators, marking and, and checking assignments and giving feedback. But, the assignments also, as Bridget said earlier on, even just as the discussion forum, was actually, it was a very great source of information for the sector. We learned a lot as facilitators. I mean, I always say that I don't even know, I will volunteer anytime to do the course, to be a facilitator just for the benefits of learning from what the materials, the feedback, the answers that participants give. So I'm just hoping that, in future, if we have the opportunity, if there is the funding, we should reinstate having these assignments in the course. Then, as Bridget said earlier on, I looked at the level of discussion this year in the discussion forum, and I thought it was not as engaging as in the past. I don't know whether because there were so many people and the courses the modules were given in cohorts, so that not so many, not so many people engaging together. Because it seems that the participants were only waiting for a response from the facilitator, whereas I felt that they should actually be engaging with each other and answering questions and having banters across. So this is something, again, in future, if we run the course again, that we have to encourage people to be more engaging. Then I looked at this year, there are many of all the facilitators who are volunteers, like in the past. And I just feel, again, it's about funding, that we're looking at people instead of having contracts with facilitators as we had in the past. And I feel there's different levels of commitment when you are contracted and when you are volunteering, because a contract means that there could be some sanctions. But volunteering, a lot of the facilitators are very busy people. And so, if there's a conflict between their their professions, their professional jobs, and their volunteering job. The other one may, one may take priority. The first one may take priority. So I'm just thinking that in the future, I will volunteer any day, whether contracted or volunteering. It doesn't matter to me, because I benefit a lot from it and for interacting and learning from the course. So when I say further improvements to the course in content, I just think that maybe we should have more videos and audiovisuals to help some of the processes, some of the topics in the course. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doton and Bridget, for such a valuable comments and for such a positive contribution to the course as facilitators and co-facilitators. Just something I think with all the comments that we are receiving, we are definitely all the comments are contributing to nice ideas ahead that we should hopefully be able to put together. Of course, the certification and working more with assignments. I don't know, just thinking out of the blue and some immediate reactions. Perhaps in the future we could offer different kinds of courses. One is more self-paced open course, and the other one is a more demanding course for some participants who want to receive a more formal certification, and those participants should commit then to do written assignments and dedicate more time and more effort in studying and in working. Also, our campus, the virtual campus, keeps permanently updating, and that's because it's part of the EDX engine, the EDX platform. So next year we will have the latest version of the platform, and that will allow participants to work in teams in assignments, even if they're based in different countries, different continents. They can work as a team, of course, everything digital, online, but then produce assignments as a team working together. That's quite an interesting tool, which I hope we can try. But definitely very good ideas coming from all of you. Thanks so much. Let me open the floor again for some more Q's and A's from all of you, whether you're facilitator, co-facilitator, participants, partners. It's the moment to share more opinions, questions, thoughts. So we have some minutes for that. We have Yusuf. Anto, could you please unmute Yusuf to start with?
Yeah, I asked him to unmute.
Okay, Yusuf, I think you may unmute yourself now and start talking.
I think I've done that.
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Number one is to appreciate everyone that has contributed to the number one availability of this course and the success. So I think it's of very high value, and you can all see from the responses and the feedback from we that are participants of the course. A big thanks to everybody that made it possible, either on the facilitator side or the donors, CAPNet, and everybody that have come around, BGR most especially, from the information we have, that ones that funded this session that we just took. So I think it's something that we should have running, and that would be my question to the organizer. How do we, is it possible that this program is available, quote unquote, all year round? Because at least from what we have, more than 800 people apply to be part of the course, and it's because of challenges of funding and availability of facilitators and all that has prevented a lot of people from being part of it. So I think it's a program that probably should be available, I don't know, not just once in a year. Possibly if it's not possible to be available all year round, is it possible quarterly? Like we have 3 sessions in a year, such that when applicants have come in, they can be designated, you'll be part of it in maybe the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. It's that important. I'm sure you would understand more than me based on the number of applicants you have received. That will be one. Secondly, which would be, I would like to make a suggestion, and having been a student of CAPNet because I've taken so many courses in CAPNet since last year. This is about the 5th or the 6th now that I've taken already. I'm still looking forward to more, hopefully. I applied for the groundwater resources management program. I wasn't admitted, I don't know, for whatever reason, so I'm still targeting it. And hopefully when I take that, I would request for my MSc certificate from CAPNet. So my suggestion as regards engagement is it possible to have maybe notification when people engage with each other? You maybe like an email that says there's a reply to your message in the discussion box. I think that will help, because at least, like I said, I've taken so many courses, and my key observation is sometimes you even engage with others and you've forgotten you have done that until something reminds you to go back to the discussion forum. Then you will see that you've gotten a reply. Like in one of the forums, I made a comment, casting replied. I think I saw it 13 days later or something. So I think if that can be infused or introduced, perhaps it will increase the engagement, and then maybe 1 or 2 webinars in between the course can also bring that interaction, that face-to-face feeling between the participants and the facilitators. These are just my suggestions, because I observed that this issue of engagement too was brought up during the other webinar for the groundwater resources management. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Yusuf. Actually, you raised a very important point. The campus has the facility to enable that participants receive an automatic email each time there is a, let's say, activity in the discussion forum. But by default, that email is not, let's say, mandatory. So each participant needs to go to a specific place in the platform and sort of checklist that they do want to get these emails. But it's a lesson learned from me. So what we will do in the coming courses, when we start the new round of courses next year, we will explain this up front so everybody can know how to do it. And of course, the reason is by default, this does not come granted for all participants, because in some cases, not everybody wants to receive lots and lots of emails informing them that there is activity in the forum. That's why each participant has to go and do it for himself or herself. But the tool is there. I just need to explain better how to do it. And the other one, the webinars during the course, that's also a great idea. Even as a meeting point between participants and facilitators, I agree with you. We should implement that too. So thanks so much. Lots and lots of good comments and inputs. Thank you. Are there any more persons who would like to talk? I see that some people are writing questions on the chat, and Kirsten has been replying them. Let me see. I will read a comment shared by Frederick Bergenson just now. I assume one objective of the course is to reach the most professionals or more standardized professional drilling in countries depending on borehole. What's the idea of a training of trainers considered, where participants are trained to distribute the knowledge they gain during the course to each of their own professional networks for quicker reach out of this knowledge? I can say from the point of view of CAPNet, historically, we have applied that strategy of training of trainers, and I'm a huge defender of this because it works very well. I don't think these courses were designed as such, but it's a good point. But in any case, I will invite Kirsten to comment more on this. Kirsten, would you like to jump in? Oh, and you were raising your hand already. Please go ahead.
No, that's great. Thanks a lot. And thanks for the great question, Frederick. I mean, as you can tell by the fact that we've only been able to have courses 2018, 2019, and this year, getting funds for this course itself has been a challenge. And we were just delighted when BGR stepped forward And actually what BGR did was turned this course with assignments for fewer people into a course with more people. It was a pilot to see how this type of course could work. So I'm very grateful to BGR. These are great ideas. And what we do is look at what people are doing with the knowledge, want to do with the knowledge, and later have done with the knowledge from the courses. But we're just not able to run a train the trainer. But as we said, the materials, a lot will be in the public domain anyway, and people can copy. It has a Creative Commons license that people can copy, use commercially, use the materials. So we hope that other people may take things up as well, because the need is huge. And at the moment, the funds for this kind of training is little. So we need to multiply. Yeah, and just one more thing. Having the co-facilitators is a way of training the trainers as well, because the co-facilitators, first of all, review the materials, work with the materials, so they can all also go on to use that in the future. So the facilitators, and we had 18 on this course, is also a training of them in this type of work, if they're able to take part as envisaged. Back to you, Damien.
Thanks very much. And I don't see any more hands up or any more comments. So I think we can go ahead. The other thing which we didn't mention is that, of course, before the pandemic, we also used to do lots of face-to-face courses. And now this is slowly going back to those kinds of trainings, which I believe should go back, not as fully face-to-face, but as blended courses, because of course, with an online campus, then we can start the training before the gathering of the people and then afterwards. So it's a very interesting moment in terms of training, what we are witnessing right now with these new tools and new possibilities. So of course, the fully online activities make it possible to reach out to thousands of people, which otherwise would have been impossible. But still, for some activities, as a TOT, as a training of trainers, some face-to-face meeting, of course, if possible, it's also highly beneficial to really strengthen a critical mass of experts and of course, to build the momentum and the team, and then set the basis for replication at country levels and so on. Of course, everything depends on multiple inputs that need to be in place for this to happen. But in terms of the ideas and the opportunities of making an impact, really there is a lot that we can do, and hopefully we will be able to at least continue with this very positive work in one or many different ways. So we are doing great with time, and I believe we can move on to the next slide and start reaching the end of this second webinar. Thanks, Antonella. So to close this webinar, I will invite Johannes Munch. He's a hydrologist working as a policy advisor at the German Federal Institute for Geosciences and Natural Resources, that is a BGR. He gained his MSc in hydrology at the University of Tübingen. In course of his profession, he gained experiences in the field of groundwater research and exploration, groundwater monitoring, and groundwater modeling. So Johannes, please unmute yourself and kindly invited to give some closing remarks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Damien. Thanks for providing the opportunity to to provide or to give some closing words to this webinar, and with it also to the successful and very relevant online course on professional drilling. As we all know, groundwater wells are essential for the general supply of clean drinking water, as they provide safe, affordable, and also reliable water sources. And in addition to that, groundwater can also be used to increase agricultural irrigation rates and thus increase agricultural yields. And with that, groundwater can contribute to food security, climate resilience, poverty reduction, and also economic growth. However, depending on the region and of course also on the depth of groundwater, drilling can sometimes be quite expensive. And this makes it even more important to professionalize the sector, to professionalize the drilling sector. And some key elements of a professional drilling sector are, for example, sound procurement, contract management, site selection, well planning, well design, well development, and monitoring, and of course also the legal and the institutional environment. And I think that the Professional Drilling Online course 2022, that this course provides the participants with an introduction to exactly these key elements. And yeah, for example, knowledge in site selection, for example, it can increase the success rate of drilling operations, while sound procurement and proper well design adapted to the geological conditions may optimize the longevity and productivity of a groundwater well. And sufficient well development ensures the proper operation of groundwater wells. But unfortunately, in many countries, it is difficult to become qualified in these areas due to a lack of training and also a lack of supervision opportunities. And therefore, it is even more important that this course addresses a large number of participants from these countries in order to step precisely there. Yeah, furthermore, I also think that it is very welcome that this course addresses relatively large number of women in order to strengthen the role of women in this traditionally quite male-dominated sector. And in my role as a co-facilitator, I was also able to take part in the forum discussions and to exchange with the participants. And this is very interesting and exciting. And yeah, I can agree on what Bridget and Doton said before. It really made me also learn a lot about groundwater resources and drilling projects in different countries across the world. And yeah, besides the very comprehensive and holistic program of the course, also the positive feedback from the participants that we have seen until today, as well as the very high completion rate of the participants, is very convincing. And I think this makes it quite easy to rate this course as a very successful one. Yeah, on behalf of BGR, I would like to thank all of you. I would like to thank Kirsten, Mustafa, Damian, and yeah, the whole advisory group and all the facilitators and co-facilitators and all others that were involved in making it possible to create and offer this course on professional drilling. I think through this wonderful cooperation, a great online course with very good quality was created that has the potential to spread and yeah, to apply the incredible important knowledge in this field. It was a pleasure for BGR to fund this course, and it is great to see the very positive feedback of the participants. We very much hope that this course will have a follow-on phase and that it will be established and conducted in a regular basis in future. And also that it will be copied and embedded in training programs of regional organizations. We definitely see a very high need and also the benefit of this course. So yeah, that's it from my side, and I would like to thank again all facilitators and participants and all involved people. And yeah, thanks to all, and back to you, Damien.
Thanks very much, Johannes. Anto, if we can go to the next and final slide. So thank you, Johannes. Thanks everyone who participated today. Thanks so much, Kirsten and Mustafa, for your leadership and excellent teamwork. All your comments today are really inspiring for us to continue forward in this work, which is not always easy, but which we love to do, and we love to see when it gives good results and when it's recognized and valued, as you have all done today. That's very important. Of course, we will continue working together as a team, as a partnership, taking forward all your ideas, comments, and suggestions, working on the things that we can improve, working on new proposals of things which we can do to continue supporting capacity development, and later on keeping contents updated with the refresher courses, trying to achieve higher and sometimes more difficult goals as more formal certifications. So this is for us as a partnership, it's an excellent way to close these two courses, to close the year with lots of food for thought, lots of ideas to move forward, and a very high inspiration to continue. So I wish you all the best. Have a good afternoon to some of you, good evening, good day to some of us in the Americas. and we will continue in touch. We will place the recording of this session on the online campus, and we will let you know by email, and also we will follow up, as Kirsten said, making of the contents together with the report. So having said on webinar, and thank you once again. All the best and goodbye.